Welcome to New and In Between, hosted by me, Mia Quinn Maddox, where I'll be discussing the hows and whys to my journey towards my faith. I've learned through my highs and lows that this path is not mine to travel alone. Join me mid-journey as I embrace my wins, losses, and everything in between.
Actors don't look directly in the camera.
I'm not acting. I'm talking
I know,
people.
but
so
it's
normally
the same
you tell
concept.
me to look at the camera.
Yeah,
So now just look at Tim.
yeah.
And yeah, we're here.
Hey everyone. Hi, I'm Mia Quinn Maddox, and this is New and In Between. This might end up a few places, but welcome to my home. We are shooting in my living room. Barren stages. I don't want to exhaust my resources, so for this episode and these clips, I'm gonna just utilize what God has given me in my beautiful home. So welcome to my home.
How are you feeling about the progression of your podcast so far?
Ooh, good one. So it is, it's progressing and it's moving quickly. It's kind of mind blowing because from the initial idea happening in, when did that idea happen? August? Yeah, let's say August. And I'm kind of blown away. I've already shot 5 episodes. I feel good about it. I'm really excited. I'm nervous. I'm super excited because with everything comes trials and tribulations, and I've had guests cancel last minute, technical issues with Wi-Fi and all kind of little silly things like that. But no matter what issues we come into or like little bumps in the road, it always ends out just going smoothly and perfectly. So I actually I'm very excited to see where it's gonna go because the progression is happening so quickly, and I just have such a good feeling about this that it's gonna be bigger than I mean. Ooh, I can't even get the words out of how excited I am about what's gonna come.
And how do you feel about the guests that you've had so far?
Ooh, so I've had some guests cancel on me, which is fine. It's the guests canceling on me gave me the opportunity to do my intro of myself. It's allowed me time to practice. But my guests so far have been really good. I've had my close friend. I've had my close friend's son that I've watched grow up, who was so amazing. Oh my God, I cannot wait to have him back again. V was so dope. Sitting on the sofa with him in front of the camera, I felt like I've known him my whole life. And we just vibed off of each other, and the conversation was so dope. So I can't wait for him. I can't wait to have him back again. But Anthony is pretty dope. Just getting to see him grow into a man. I mean, that's exciting in itself. Just to see him become himself and knowing his father and know who raised him, and then to see the product of my friend, it was dope. So. I'm excited to see who I have to come.
And in terms of New and In Between, how do you feel about the overall experience?
It's definitely been a learning experience. When the idea was given, so when I say the idea was given to me, I was driving from New Jersey to Brooklyn to an event that was for podcasters and people in the entertainment industry and creatives. And never have I ever thought of doing a podcast. I mean, I love to talk, and I love to talk about myself, and I love to talk about my experiences, but never did I ever think that I was going to do a podcast. So when the idea was given to me, I was driving to meet a friend for this event, and God gave me this idea. And I'm like, okay, and He gave me the name, and I want to say it's been a little bit overwhelming, but not overwhelming in a bad way. More overwhelming, like. It's really happening. Everything is falling into place how it's supposed to. From my location to reconnecting with a friend, Tim, who is recording now. Shout out to Tim, thanks. And just all the knowledge that he has, and just bumping into people from my past, the good people of my past, and the knowledge that they're bringing to me, and just the encouragement, the advice. I mean, I'm overwhelmed with excitement about where it's gonna go.
Who are some of your crazy faith guests?
So Crazy Faith, for those who don't know what Crazy Faith is, Pastor Mike Todd, Transformation Church, he has, it's Crazy Faith, Crazier Faith, but it's basically believing for things that we think are crazy until it happens. So never did I think that I was going to start a podcast. I just didn't think that this was something that was going to happen, but I'm a dreamer. I've always been a dreamer. And some of my Crazy Faith guests are Crystal Renee. She has a podcast called Keep It Positive, Sweetie. She's also an actress on one of my favorite shows called Sisters, which is written and directed by Tyler Perry. And she used to be, I'm not sure if she still dresses Tyler, but she was his stylist and costume designer. And she is now an actress and a podcast host, amongst many other things. So I would love to have her. I just feel like if I wanted to, and I mean not copy someone's life, but if I was to say someone who was similar to me, like to sit down on a couch with someone who's similar to me, I would think it would be her. We're in the same age group. We've kind of had the same path career-wise as far as styling. I mean, I don't want to be an actress, but just in chasing our dreams, that part. I would love to have Pastor Mike and Natalie Todd both on my sofa, because I feel like it's important for me to first acknowledge the person who ignited this love for God in me. I mean, not that I didn't have one before, but he's different. I would love to sit on the sofa and just thank him for having the courage to step out on faith and become the lead pastor of Transformation Church. And I would love to hear his wife just talk about how hard it is to be a wife of a pastor that leads so many. And I would just love to hear just her side, because we hear about the wives, but we don't really get to hear about the wives. So I would love to speak to both of them at the same time. Those are two that I would love to have. Tim Ross, he's another, he was a pastor that I followed for a little while, but he also has a podcast called The Basement, which I watch faithfully. He's dope. I mean, he just speaks. Like, I've never seen such young black men speak in such a way that is inspiring, that is encouraging, that is, I mean, Tim Ross is just, I can't even put it into words, but I would love to have him. I would love to have him sit on my sofa. Regina King, I worked with her on 7 Seconds, and she was so dope. I mean, she just has such a dope energy about her that I would love to just sit down and have a conversation with her about, just her life. She's been in the game for a long time. She's experienced a lot. And I would love to have her. I would definitely love to have her. She was so cool. Of course, Tyler Perry. I love everything about Tyler Perry. His story, his creativity, that would be crazy. I would also love to have Grace Harry. Grace Harry. I can't wait to have her sit down. Grace Harry was the woman who was responsible for introducing me to the styling world. I would love to sit down. She's also written a book called The Joy Strategist, which I'm reading now. So I hope that when I finish the book, I will be able to have her sit down with me and just, discuss her book. I think it's such a dope, just a dope concept of joy. There's so many things that we, just day to day, we're always in so many different feelings and so many different situations. But when we really think about it, do we really understand joy? Do we really know how to reach complete joy? So I would love to sit down and have her share share her life and where she got. I went to a little workshop at this Anscape house. It was not a networking, I guess a networking event. And she was there. She had a seminar of her book. So I would love to sit down with her and have her talk about, just talk about, for us to talk about how we met. And I would love for her to hear about my journey, because she is she's a very key person in my styling career. So I would love to have Grace Harry. Toni Collier, she's written a book called Broken Crayon Still Color. Toni Collier, I follow her devotionals on the Bible U app. I haven't read her book yet, but she just has such a great spirit. I follow her on Instagram, and she just seems like a genuine, I just feel like she would be a great person for me to have a conversation with that would inspire a lot of people. I would love to have at some point my mom, my Aunt Jackie, and my sister, so that we could talk about family and being a sibling. Maybe some other sisters, Sharon and Sue, for sure. I would love to have my sisters in Christ from my Bible study that I was a part of in 2020. Different Sue. Her sister name is Sue, and then this is a different Sue, Suzanne. And Billy, I can't forget about Billy. I would love to sit at a table with them and just talk about how much they inspired me. And I would love to just for people to hear their journey of just life. These are women that I've come to know and that I'm friends with, that I would love for them to just share their stories, because they're inspiring. And they ignited my passion and my fire to learn more about God, and to read more of the Bible, and to learn more about Christ, and to get saved and to get baptized. So I would love for people to just see, the women behind me, the women who poured into me, that's allowing me to sit in this chair now. Oh, Bruce and Glenn. Bruce and Glenn are two twin brothers that I've known for maybe, if I styled for a little over 2 decades. So I think they've been in the business just as long as I have. And I know them. They had a line of fancy snap bracelets that was so fire. And this is back in like the early 2000s. And now they have a beautiful clothing line called Bruce and Glenn. I'm sure a lot of people have seen it. It's real colorful. It's real lively. It's real them. So I would love to have Bruce and Glenn just to talk about the journey. Like, they've been in the game as long as I've been in the game, and I've watched them reinvent themselves over and over and over and never let go of their dream. And now they have like a major clothing line. Like, they just were in Paris Fashion Week, and they're in LA Fashion Week, and they have major celebrities wearing their clothes, and they're dope. Who else would I like to have? I would like to have Josh Howard, who used to play for the Mavericks, who now is a assistant coach. He's either assistant coach or a coach for his alma mater, his college. And I used to dress Josh Howard when he played for the Mavericks. And we became really good friends, and we've been friends now for over a decade. So I would love to just sit down and talk to him about his journey. He played in the NBA. He was great. He's retired. He has children. He gives back. He has a foundation. I would love to just sit down and talk about, just people who've known me. I'll say who've known some of my personalities, because he knew me when I was in the thick of the styling game. Maybe Kevin Ollie, who I dressed for a little while also, who I'm not so much dressing now, but kind of consulting with, and he is now the assistant coach. He's part of the coaching staff for the Brooklyn Nets, and he is a Christ follower, and I would love to just sit down and talk to him about how he maintains his spirituality in that type of environment. So I would hope that one day I could have him sit on the couch with me. Of course, the greats, Oprah, Gayle King. Who doesn't want to sit across from Oprah? And I would love to interview Oprah. And I have a whole list of friends. Like, I really want to interview or have my friends that I've accumulated over the years sit down and talk with me, because these are people that know me. that have known me through my transitions of career, styling, film and television, my store for a little second. So I would love to have some of my friends like Tanya, who is gonna fight me to the end, but I'm gonna get her on my sofa. I would love to have Tim who is recording this right now, just because these are people that I've watched progress in such amazing ways, that I feel would be so inspiring to other people, that I feel like maybe I inspire a little bit or a lot of it, or however the case may be. But I would love to just sit down with them and just to, to hear about their journeys. We don't talk about God openly. And I mean, not to say that people are not willing to, but we're in such a fast-paced environment in film and television that sometimes most of our conversations are complaints about the job, or venting about what's going on, or whatever situations are happening. So we really don't get into these deep conversations. But some of these people I've been able to attach myself to, and they've been carrying with me throughout my career in film and television. And I would love to just hear about how I inspire them, or how they're inspired, or what their thought process is on God, or what their belief system is, because it's not a conversation that we have. And I want to know. I want to know which ones of my friends are new and in between. I'm new. I am. I'm new. I'm new to this. I mean, I've just got saved in 2020. I just got baptized in 2023. So I would love to see, I know that if I was introduced to this, I'm sure there's other people who have the same mindset or mind frame, because they say you attract what you are. So I would love to just hear about, my friends. Like, some grew up in the church, some didn't grow up in the church, some are inspired by, new things that are happening, new learnings, or maybe just from me. So I would love to have my friend Tanya. I would love to have Tim. I would love to have Cyrus. I would love to have my sister. There's a few people that I've asked, so I'm not gonna say their names. I just kind of want to wait and see, and then you guys can see too who it is.
So when we're discussing new and in between, what do you feel has been your biggest win and your biggest loss?
That's a good one. So my biggest win. No, I'm gonna start with my biggest loss. My biggest loss is not being like some of the guests that have canceled on me. I feel like that was a big loss, because I feel like I chose the people that I chose based off of their stories, and it's a loss for me because I really believe that their stories would have inspired people, because they've inspired me. So I feel like that was a loss, and it's more so a loss, not that I don't think that they want to do my podcast. It's more so that I think that they are afraid of telling their story. To sit in front of the, I mean, it's kind of sitting in front of the world and telling them your whole life. It's not an easy thing. So it's a loss for me, but I hope that, as my podcast progresses, that I'm able to, maybe those people are able to see the direction that I'm going in and decide to, come sit on the sofa with me. My biggest win, I mean, every day this whole thing is a win. I mean, I'm sitting in my living room. This is the living room of my home that I live in every day. It's just so, I mean, I think everything about this podcast has been a win. Every trial, every tribulation, every up, every down, every cancellation, every change has been a major learning experience. And I'm reconnecting with people who I know what they do, but you know what people do, and then you forget until you're in a space with them, and then they're like, no, I do this for real. So that was Tim. Me and Tim worked together on Godfather Harlem, and that was, I don't remember how many years ago, maybe 3-4 years ago, before 2020. So that was either 2018, 2019, 2018. Oh, wow. So just to see his progression. And he did my photo shoot for Ask Me a Quinn, which is another business that I had tried to launch a few years ago about styling advice. But he shot that for me, and that was maybe a year ago, 2 years ago. I was looking to reuse those pictures, and he couldn't find those pictures. So in the midst of him not being able to find those pictures, he told me that he would shoot me again. And then when he shot me again, the conversations opened up about everything that he's been doing. Not only that, but his equipment was so impressive. I'm like, wow, he really invested in himself. So just reconnecting with people, other friends that are launching podcasts that I was able to attend and have inspired me, and just, I mean, the whole thing to me is a win because I'm learning. I'm learning something new. I'm getting to talk about my experience. I hope that, everything that I speak about is inspiring. Either brings closure, because don't get me wrong, and when I was in the music industry, I was a beast, and I'm sure that I might have damaged or traumatized a few people. So I hope that this conversation and these conversations and my openness allows people to really get to understand my mindset where I was at that time, and maybe give them closure or allow them to forgive me, or whatever the case may be. I just hope positive things come from it. So my win is every day is a win for me. Every day I wake up and God is ordering my steps, and everything is working out exactly how it's supposed to be. So right now, every day about the podcast is a win for me.
So you've discussed being a stylist and then pivoting into TV and film. What do you think has been your biggest win and your biggest loss in your career?
Damn. Ooh. My biggest win? I have so many wins and so many losses, but I think my biggest win was when the first album album packaging that I was able to style was Mobb Deep. I think that was my biggest win because I would listen to Mobb Deep all through high school, all through college. I grew up in Queens. The woman who styled them previously, Monica Morrow, she was someone who was very much influential in my career, period. So to be able to take on a client that someone of that caliber dressed, and I was able to dress them and they were happy, that was a really big win for me. And when that album was released and I was able to see Mia Quinn, a lot of y'all don't know that albums, when there was the real CDs, like there was real packaging and it had a little book inside and it told you all about the songs, who produced it, what studio it was in. The artist got to say thank yous. I got a few thank yous. That was a good thing. But to see my name being given credit for my work on that Mobb Deep album was definitely like one of my biggest wins. It was one of those moments that I was like, damn, I'm really a stylist. Like, I'm really getting credit for something that I love to do. So that was a really big win. Of course, getting 50 and touring and traveling the world, those are all big wins. But those moments of like working with Mobb Deep, I'll never. Those was the moments that I was like, damn, I'm really a stylist. So I feel like that was maybe one of my biggest wins. I mean, I've had such a very lucrative and amazing career that to pinpoint one win, I would say my styling career overall was a win. I was able to dress amazing artists, huge artists, travel the world, experience. I mean, I've had some experiences. So,
and what was your relationship with God like at that time?
Ooh, what's so crazy? I always believed in God, and I always believed in God. I wasn't heavy into prayer. I definitely prayed before we took off when we landed. I always believed in God, but I didn't have a relationship with God. I always had a belief, but I didn't have a relationship. I didn't have an understanding. I did not have wisdom, and I was not walking in the way of God. So if I was to say, no, I didn't. He was there, but he was there in the background. I really thought that my career was because of me. So I knew God's presence was there. I knew He was there. His presence just wasn't strong in my life as it is right now.
And what was your biggest loss?
My biggest loss was thus far was losing 50. When I really was able to sit down and really take accountability for my actions in that situation, and realizing that the things that I could have done differently, as far as communicating with him, I feel like that was a big loss. Yeah, that was a big loss, because when that rug was snatched from underneath me, it was a big shock and a surprise, and I never thought that situation would end. So I think that was my biggest loss, and it took a long time for me to forgive him and the people involved in the demise of my career. I say, because it was some other factors that played into my release, and yeah, that would kind of be the biggest one. I would losing 50 as a client definitely would be. I would consider it to be a big loss.
You seem humbled. What would you tell your younger self? Like, what would you tell younger Mia?
I wouldn't tell her anything. I would not tell her anything. I would want younger Mia to do everything that she's done, because where I am now, the person that I am now, I wouldn't be her if I didn't go through those experiences. I would not be her. I'm so happy with the person that I've become, the relationship that I have with God, my understanding of God and Jesus, and just how it intertwines in my life, and just the word. I mean, it's crazy. Next level crazy. So, it's I wouldn't tell my younger self anything. My younger self, listen, don't get me wrong. My younger self was something else. And I mean, I wouldn't regret anything about my younger self, because my younger self still was strong. I was hardworking. I was ambitious. I was a hustlers. What is it? Hustlers ambition, hustlers, whatever it is. But I would tell myself this: to forgive, to learn forgiveness, to forgive, to let things go, because I've held on to so much things for so long, that hardened my heart, that probably would have made me make different decisions, and not decisions as far as my career or things like that, just different decisions as far as like my relationship with my mom, with my sister, with my dad, with family members, with friends. So I wouldn't. That's the only thing that I would tell younger me, is that the past is the past. Let it go. Learn to forgive. But otherwise, everything that I've been through in my life has brought me to this seat, and I wouldn't change any of that for anything.
So, New and In Between is based off of your current faith journey. What do you think has been your biggest win and your biggest loss with your current faith journey now?
I don't think I have any losses, because I feel like any loss that I have, like, all right, I've lost income because we were on strike for, I don't even know however many months, but in that loss I was able to gain New and In Between. I was able to gain more wisdom. I was able to gain more understanding. I was able to gain peace. So it's not really a loss, because within that loss I still won. My biggest win is gaining an understanding of God and Jesus. That's my biggest win, because I've been leading myself a long time. I'm 43. I've been leading myself. Don't get me wrong, not just on my own, but God has been leading me, but I've also been leading myself. So now that I've learned to allow God to order my steps, and I'm trusting, and my faith has increased, and my love has increased, and my understanding has increased, and my wisdom has increased, that's my biggest win, getting baptized. I did that on my own, and I did that on my own. Nobody encouraged me. No one said, hey, you should get baptized, or that was something that I just said, you know what, I'm ready to get baptized. I mean, I did do it with Mike Todd during the pandemic. He did a baptizing, and I baptized myself in the bathtub, but you're supposed to have somebody put you in, but I ain't have nobody to put me in, so I did it myself, so I don't really think that counted. But I think my overall biggest win for my new faith journey is just gaining an understanding of what God, He wants good for me. So everything that I go through, whether it is a loss or a win or a good or a bad, I know that it's going to be for my good. Sometimes a loss is redirection for something else. So I feel like everything that I've lost thus far has been a win because it's led me to where I am now. And I feel like this is my biggest win of my life right now. New and in between. Check it out. YouTube. Click, like, and subscribe. Subscribe. Thanks.